The Manx is a breed of domestic cats, a distinctive feature of which is the absence of a tail, although in reality not all representatives of this breed are tailless. Manx is a cat breed that originated on the Isle of Man. They are peaceful, intelligent, calm, obedient, unpretentious, quickly adapt to changes, need attention, and not getting enough attention, they can take offense. Manx always strives to be in the center of events, of course, in the role of the most active participant. A feature of the Manx cats is the absence of a tail, although there are also tailed representatives of the breed, in which its length can vary from a short stump to a tail of almost normal length. The history of the Manx breed. Each of the versions explaining how the tailless cat phenomenon arose on the Isle of Man in the Irish Sea is interesting in its own way. Tailless cats were found in different parts of the planet. Charles Darwin also mentioned that they can often be seen in Malaysia, they came across in Russia and China. There is an assumption that they were brought from the Far East and then, in conditions of natural isolation, the tailless gene spread to local cats. According to another version, tailless cats were brought by the Phoenicians from Japan, since there is a breed of almost tailless cats, the bobtail. Another legend claims that tailless cats came to the island during the campaigns of the Spanish conquerors. In 1588, one of the Spanish ships was wrecked in the Irish Sea, and it was from this ship that the cats got to the Isle of Man. But whatever the reason for the appearance of this breed on the island, the locals are very proud of their Manx. Already several centuries ago, they were considered to bring good luck and were depicted in paintings, coins and jewelry. Manx is the symbol of the island. Even King Edward VIII kept a Manx and was very fond of his cat. The Douglas Museum, capital of the Isle of Man, contains a book written at the turn of the 17th and 18th centuries, which details the Manx breed. The British are very proud of the Manx breed and have repeatedly issued coins with its image. In 1901, a club of lovers of this breed was founded and its standard was developed. Despite the unusualness of the breed and its recognition in the territory of the British Kingdom, for a long time this breed was not accepted in the world. Experts feared the instability of the natural mutation that created the tailless cat breed. For a complete study, the cats were taken to the United States and the viability and stability of the mutation in other natural conditions was confirmed there. In 1920, the Manx breed was recognized by the Cat Association of America, CFA. Now it is recognized by all international philological organizations. The most striking victory of the Manx at international shows was the receipt of the prize of the main adult participant and the title of Grand Champion at the British Maine Cat Show in 1979. Description of the Manx breed. Manx are unique in their appearance, the roundness of the outlines and a peculiar gait, uncharacteristic for cats, more like a rabbit. But it is precisely this gait that distinguishes this breed. Apart from the lack of a tail, the Manx are very reminiscent of British shorthair cats, and not only in appearance, but also in character. One of the features of the Manx breed, a large difference in the size of males and females. Cats have a medium-sized body, strong and sturdy. The cats look unusually small and graceful, sometimes not growing larger than a 4-month-old European shorthair kitten. Not all kittens in Manx litters are tailless. Depending on the presence of this part of the body, the following subspecies of the breed are distinguished: rampy, complete absence of a tail. The ramp riser has a bunch of wool instead of a tail. Stumpy has a short tail, usually hooked or knobby. Longy has a tail of medium length. Ramp and partly ramp raceler classes are allowed to participate in exhibitions. The absence of a tail does not affect the ability of the Manx to maintain balance, although they are not very willing to climb trees. But thanks to the powerful hind limbs in running and high jumps, they can give odds to cats of any other breeds. Appearance. Color: any, except for color point, chocolate, lilac and their combinations with white. Coat: smooth, dense, with undercoat. Eyes: round, large, set obliquely, it is desirable to match the color. Body: the back of the body is slightly heavy. Feet: front feet are shorter than hind feet. Tail: absent. A dimple is felt in the place where the tail should be. Also, in addition to tailless, the Manx breed is represented by individuals with several tail vertebrae, cats with a shortened tail and owners of a completely normal long tail. Manx cats' character. These cats are good rodent hunters and often dexterous fishermen. Very mobile, hardy and unpretentious, they easily adapt to a variety of living conditions. They are distinguished by a calm, balanced character and a friendly attitude towards a person. They are loyal and gentle pets, curious and intelligent, funny and docile. They can be trained like a dog, carry things. They like to be aware of themselves as family members, and when ignored by the owners and left to themselves, they sometimes get offended. From their ancestors who traveled on pirate sailing ships in the Irish Sea, they retained the habit of observing the flowing water. And if you don't have a small fountain at home, then Manx can organize entertainment for himself by pressing the button of the flush tank. Manx cats are good rodent hunters. Manx can be great with kids. They are friendly towards everyone around them and will not release their claws in the game. It is only advisable that children do not hurt the cat by pulling its ears, whiskers and the remnants of the tail, because this is a very painful place in the Manx. Pets of this breed feel great in an apartment and do not need special walking, but if you have a private house, the Manx will gladly explore the entire adjacent area. Features of behavior. These cats are very peaceful, they feel great in a large family, get along with small children, no problems arise when dealing with dogs, even with large ones. Manx is not a timid dozen, he can stand up for himself and his territory. Intelligent, calm, obedient cat, unpretentious, quickly adapts to changes. The Manx love their owners, they are very loyal, they generally have sympathy for people. Feel like they are part of the family, need attention, and not getting enough can get offended. They love to look at the pouring water, whether it be rain, a river or a stream from a tap. Some cats are even able to learn how to flush the toilet in order to admire the flow of running water. Despite the fact that the build of cats is somewhat heavy, they are very energetic, mobile, love games, in addition, they are excellent hunters and even fishermen. Caring for a pet of the Manx breed. Manx cats, with their short, dense undercoats and soft, medium-length coats, benefit from daily brushing with a non-hard brush and a medium sparse-toothed comb, which remove dead hairs and give the fur a shiny healthy appearance. If you do not have enough time for this procedure, you can limit yourself to 2 combing a week. It is advisable to use a furminator during molting, but its more frequent use is not recommended. Otherwise, caring for a Manx is the same as for any domestic cat. Cleaning the eyes with a napkin as they become dirty. Weekly cleaning of the auricles with cotton swabs moistened with hydrogen peroxide. It is not necessary to get too deep into the ear canal. If your pet is out of the house or communicates with other animals, then there is a possibility of infection with an ear mite. Therefore, in case of significant discharge, you must contact a veterinary hospital. Teeth cleaning is done either with a special brush, you can purchase a special attachment that fits on your finger, and special pastes for cats, or using solid food, small bones, solid food. For preventive purposes, once a year it is necessary to conduct an examination by a veterinarian dentist. Accurate monthly pruning of claws and only their transparent part. Manx are clean, and since they do not like to wash, this procedure can be carried out only in certain situations when visiting a veterinarian, before an exhibition, mating or childbirth. Trait training for these smart animals should be quick and easy, especially since the initial part of the training is carried out at an early age by the breeder. When choosing a litter, first of all, you need to focus on the behavior of the animal itself. Sometimes the cat does not like the smell and will ignore such a tray. You can consult with the breeder what kind of filler the baby is accustomed to. When choosing the size of the tray, you can focus on an adult cat, as kittens grow quickly. It is better to put it on a special rug so that the filler from the cat's paws sticks to the pile of the carpet and does not spread around the house. For a comfortable stay of a cat, you must also purchase a scratching post, utensils for food and toys. It is advisable to have a carrier for visiting the veterinarian. You can create your pet a small personal corner in the house where he will feel comfortable and safe. Manx do not know how to group when falling from a height like other cats. When keeping a cat in an apartment of a multi-story building, it is necessary to provide special protective nets on the windows, not mosquito nets, so that your pet does not accidentally die. What diseases are typical for cats of the Manx breed? Like all domestic cats, Manx are susceptible to a number of feline diseases. To keep your pet healthy, you must follow the preventive rules. Stick to a balanced diet, timely carry out the necessary revaccination, monitor the teeth and oral cavity of the animal, get rid of fleas and ticks in time, deworming at least twice a year, even if your pet does not leave the apartment. But besides this, the Manx are characterized by diseases associated with the peculiarity of their breed. No tail means a shorter spine. Pathologies caused by such a body structure can manifest itself in the form of the following diseases. Manx syndrome. The kitten's spine grows too slowly in relation to the body. Usually these kittens live no longer than 4 months. Congenital spinal hernia, which leads to various neurological disorders of the cat's body. Dystrophy of the hip joint, which is a pathology of the hind limbs of the animal. Various dysfunctions of the bladder and intestines. Corneal dystrophy. This disease is genetic. It is recommended to remove the dystrophy zone as a treatment. If the disease is detected, such animals are not allowed to mate, but it does not affect the general health. Most congenital diseases are detected at an early stage and such kittens are discarded. Adult animals have good immunity to colds and get sick infrequently. The average lifespan of a Manx is 14 years. Disqualification of animals when participating in exhibitions is carried out in the following cases: poor physical condition, including a runny nose and sneezing, weak hind limbs. When examining the profile, a stop or a fracture of the nose is pronounced, not slanted eyes. Lack of toes, oligodactyly, their fusion, syndactyly, or excess, polydactyly. The presence of external parasites, the absence of internal ones is documented. Only rampies and ramp racelers take part in the exhibitions, provided that if you run your hand along the spine of such an animal, you will not feel the tail. Advantages and disadvantages of the Manx breed. The Manx breed has many advantages, but there are also disadvantages. Are you ready to become the owner of such a cat? Of course, you decide. Benefits. A rare breed of great value among cat lovers. A beautiful animal that makes a good companion for any family. Possesses high intelligence and is well trained. Doesn't have big problems with maintenance and care. Easily adaptable to any place of residence, can provide rodent protection for your home. Has a good level of health. Disadvantages. Problems in purchasing and high cost of kittens. Difficulty finding partners for breeding the breed. Few offspring and a large number of discarded kittens for medical reasons. Price and how to buy correctly. Manx are extraordinary and attractive animals, which contributes to their popularity around the world. Problems with breeding offspring lead to the difficulty of acquiring them even in Europe and America, despite the fact that there are nurseries for breeding Manxes abroad. There can only be offers for sale from private owners. In any case, you must pre-book the purchase of a kitten. The cost of a small Manx largely depends on his class, whether he is a ramp raceler, stumpy or long, since not all classes are allowed to the exhibitions. And also the pedigree of the parents influences the price, whether they have champion titles. When buying a kitten abroad, the cost of a kitten will include shipping costs. Kittens with a docked tail can be taken to a new home after 3 months, as they are not prone to typical diseases of the breed. In other cases, Manx are required at the age of 4 months and older to ensure the health of the animal. The minimum price for a Manx kitten is $450. Expecting to buy a champion-level baby, focus on the cost several times more. When making a deal, carefully study the pedigree of the future pet, since the recessive taillessness gene affects the health of the offspring, and it is not recommended to mate rampy with rampy, which can lead to hidden genetic diseases. Remember that not all tailless cats are Manx. This breed has a characteristic physique and a jumping gait. Pay attention to the baby's appearance. He should look healthy, clean eyes, ears, and no scratches on the skin and bald spots, and active. Watch how he moves, if there are any difficulties in walking, and signs of dystrophy of the hind limbs.